Welcome to our Savvy series. I'm Catherine Magana here with Rachel Ivanovich, and today we're going to have a discussion on women and wealth confidence, a New Year mindset reset. So here we are, the end of 2025, and we're getting ready for 2026. And I know there's a lot going on between the end of the year and holidays, but we think it's important to really start planning and thinking about 2026, and that's why we've been doing a lot of these. Recently, been talking a little bit more about mindset and goals and purpose. And so as we kind of wrap into the new year, one of the things that we thought would be a good idea to talk about is confidence. And so really being confident in your financial decisions and your lives. And so often what we find is we have a lot of women that are educated and they're professionals and they're very successful in their lives. But sometimes behind the scenes, they often hesitate about their money or are they making the right decisions? And so we thought we'd spend some time today kind of sharing a little bit about that.
And talking about confidence.
Yes. And so we're big believers. I mean, we do a lot of education throughout the year. We're committed to doing live events and webinars and
workshops.
And these Savvy series. And so we really want you to feel confident and learn. And so that ties into kind of, looking at next year, what are some things that you could be doing to make sure that you're more confident in those decisions that you're making.
And with the new year, what comes to mind when you think of New Year?
I think I have my twins' birthday coming up.
I was thinking resolutions.
For me, the kids are January 15th. So after that, I'm like, but as we're planning for next year, I'm thinking right now, like, what are my words?
What's your goals?
I've been really spending some time. And then mostly, a lot of it's also been with business planning and thinking about next year. But, it is important to also reflect on personally what's important and what.
Yeah. And so today we kind of want to talk about, the new year is not just about resolutions, but it's about a reset and recalibration. Because like you said, Catherine, many successful women that are doing well financially, they still feel uncertain or hesitant to act. And so they're maybe unsure of making the best decisions. So we think, like you said, education is key and confidence comes from knowing enough to move forward with intention. And so let's talk about being confident in 2026.
So we do a workshop, and we actually have one coming up on January 22nd at 5:30. So if you're in the area and you'd like to join us, please let us know. It's going to be at 5:30. But in that workshop, it's our Savvy Woman Invest on Purpose workshop. And in that, we do go over not only the strengths of women and kind of looking at your purpose, but we also look at kind of our proactive wealth process and giving some tools and ideas of really how to break down learning. And so
because there's so many areas when it comes to finance, it can be really overwhelming.
Yeah, and so we really believe in a proactive wealth process where we look at asset management, liability management, protective strategies, and legacy planning. And in that workshop and other series, we'll go a little bit deeper, but we're
it's a system that you can use to learn more about money throughout the year.
Yeah. And we follow that system, and we also do webinars once a quarter, kind of tying in some of those different topics and themes so that you can be confident in making those decisions. And what we find is the more you learn and you understand, or at least have a general idea of things, that you tend to be more confident in the decisions that you make. We don't expect you to learn every single detail, but we want you to feel comfortable with the decisions that you're making. So once again, that's why we do a lot of education.
And I think it's important to understand that wealth confidence is a skill.
Yeah.
This isn't a personality trait. This is something that you can learn, and we're really we want to help you, and we hope that you come to all of our workshops and listen to our podcast all year next year.
Exactly. And so there's a lot of things that come up for women. Women are living a little bit longer. We see a lot of women that are caregivers for family members.
And we live longer than men typically.
Yes. And people in general are living longer, but yeah, you're right. Women do live longer than men. And then we have seen over the last few years, whether there be phasing into retirement, or there might be a divorce or an inheritance. We've seen a lot of kind of things happen in our clients' lives that really warrant them to start looking at their financial plans and investments. But along the way, we think it's important to look now, but reality is sometimes it really takes a situation that comes up.
And I think it's important that you mention the longevity and the caregiving and career interruptions, because women do face a lot of these. I mean, we do bear the burden of, a lot of the caregiving for elderly parents or children, and sometimes our 401k suffer because of it, because we're the ones who make the decision to stay home and caregive or do both. And so we just want you to learn that that you can be in control of your wealth and have confidence with your decisions.
So let's talk a little bit about kind of mindset. So when you think about money, is it coming from a place of scarcity or abundance? And so obviously we want you to be abundant in your thoughts and planning. And so as you're thinking scarcity, what sometimes comes up is, what if I mess up? What if I don't do it right? Or what if I need, this money later? You kind of feel like I don't have enough. And so, or you can look at abundance where, okay, I want this to help with my future, my next chapter. I don't want to sit on the sidelines. I really want to grow. And so there's kind of the ebb and flow of that, and obviously having those conversations internally.
And you're making decisions based on your goals, not because you're scared.
Yeah. And so that's where the financial planning comes into play. Is what's your overall financial plan? What are your goals? I know we talked a little bit about goals over the last couple series.
Well, and taking strategic risk, and not just being reckless about it, but being educated and understanding risk.
And so then knowing also what's your money doing and why and how is it positioned. So we definitely think having a plan is important. And we're obviously here to help you along the way. And if you have any questions or if you want to set up a complimentary strategy session, you can always reach us at 760-692-5700. And so we're really, once again, kind of tying back into being confident. It's not about being perfect and having the perfect timing. And I know the markets, they fluctuate. We've had a really good run up this year. The stock and bond market has done very well this year. But there's times the markets go down. And earlier this year, if you were investing the first quarter of the year, we saw a pretty big pullback in the stock market, and especially there was a lot of uncertainty about tariffs and taxes. And so we had some clients that were nervous. But once we talked to them, we said, okay, we have a plan and we have money set aside. And then they felt a little more at ease. But being confident doesn't mean that you're going to I'm going to time it perfectly. It's really, once again, having a plan, having clarity, understanding how your money's working for you and why. And so it's really a question of, and having, we're here to help.
Having a team of advisors that you can lean on and call if you get scared or if you need to be educated about something.
Because sometimes I think you get scared and you feel like I have to do something. Like I got to, but the reality is sometimes doing nothing is
if you have to have the right plan.
Exactly. So you kind of have to ask yourself, what does my wealth, do for me? Is it providing freedom, peace of mind? Obviously, we're at the end of the year. There's a lot of charitable giving right now, whether it be time or money. But once again, having your plan and being clear about what's your vision for the future and your money, and then obviously being confident in your decisions. So there's a lot to think about as we kind of phase into next year, and we're really excited for next year and really happy to be a resource for you. And so sometimes we feel that you might be second guessing yourself and thinking, maybe you don't know something, or maybe there's a question and you think it's a stupid question.
I'm not good with money.
I know. It's like, hey, but there are no stupid questions. And
we hear a lot of people say that. I'm not good with money. I'm not good at this.
Yeah.
But I think being educated, and we're really committed to education and empowering women to feel confident when it comes to money.
Yeah. And it's really about participating in the conversation. And so whether it be working with your advisors or coming to workshops or just being
engaged.
Involved. Yeah, I think that's really important. And we're seeing this shift. I mean, over the last several years, I'm seeing more and more women wanting to learn and being more proactive, and which excites me because I'm really happy to see that evolution.
I think it's good to be curious and become informed and involved with your finances, because oftentimes a lot of the things we hear women say is, I should already know this, or I don't want to ask it, or this might be a stupid question, and that's not the case. And so we really encourage you to take control and be confident in 2026.
Exactly. So as we kind of approach the new year in 2026, we thought it'd be good for you to kind of take a moment and really kind of reflect on what were your goals from this last year? And then also look at, are there some areas in your life financially that you're avoiding, or also kind of stepping into abundance? Like what do you see yourself for next year? And once again, right now we're talking about 1 year, but the reality in financial planning, we're looking at 3, 5, 10 plus years. And so obviously planning has more of a longer term approach, but definitely making sure that you're reaching your shorter term goals. And so it's, we're here to make sure it's not about doing more, and it's more
doing
about
it right.
Right. It's, like,
it's being aligned with the life that you actually want to live.
And being clear about what my future looks like. And so we're really excited to be a resource. Once again, next year we'll continue to do our live events, our Savvy series, and some webinars along the way. But if you would like us to help you individually, or if you have any specific questions, if you want to give us a call, or if you want to come in and have a cup of coffee with us, we'd love to meet with you. And once again, you can reach us at 760-692-5700. And we're excited for next year and I can't believe we're already the end of 2025.
We picked our words for the year, but we won't tell you yet.
Yes, in the beginning of the year. So we're not going to tape next week, but the following week.
Stay tuned.
Yes, we'll go over our goals and words. And
what was your word for last year?
So present was my word last year.
Mine was gratitude.
Nice, yes. And I think
so we close out the year in gratitude, and thank you for joining us all year. We really appreciate you as our listeners.
Absolutely. So until next time, remember to savvy up. Please stay tuned for important disclosures. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. It is only intended to provide education about the financial industry. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results, and the indices referenced for comparison are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. As always, please remember investing involves risk and possible loss of principal capital. Please seek advice from a licensed professional. Savvy Woman Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor with the SEC.